Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Real Hacker Hours podcast. This is basically where I just do the normal work I do on side projects. I just hit the record button before I do it. None of this is rehearsed, so you're probably going to see a lot of smooth brain mistakes. But without further ado, let's get started. Today, I'm continuing on with Apache reversing, particularly looking at modules. I know last episode I spent a lot of time looking at like the mod alias, reversing a lot of the functionality there. I am going to do a bit, at least for the first part of this, maybe I'll do with other things after it, depending on how long this takes me. Continue looking at the mod alias module because there's still a bit of functionality there that I'm not 100% sure how it works. So let's go ahead and open it up. Apache source. Where is it? Modules, mappers, mod alias.c. So, sorry for breathing on my mic. One thing I think I'll have to check out the module source codes to make sure. But this AP declare module, I'm pretty sure this is sort of the standard function for like what Apache expects to set it up. Um, Here we can specify that like register hooks. This function is a function that is responsible for registering the hooks, which we spent a lot of time last video reversing out. This alias commands we specialize, so I'll specify that here. And one thing I'm just instantly noticing, alias and script alias are both present in the httpd conf file, which I shall show right here. Yeah, alias, script alias, which would lead me to believe, although this probably is just something I could Google, that the commands here are effectively things that can be added to the config file. And then that configuration can then be saved. Because when we're looking at the translate alias redirect, yeah, ap get module config, so that would lead me to believe that this module has some sort of configuration functionality to interpret the configuration. And looking at here, I think that these commands are how it does that. Now, that covers these two parameters to this. We have merge alias config, which is another function. Not sure what this does. Let's take a look. What is it doing? It's calling some sort of memory allocation function from the Apache portable runtime. Hang on one second. Okay, I'm back. Cool. So continue looking at this. We see base environment. So it casts base as an alias server conf pointer as base environment. One thing I'm curious of, alias server conf, is this a struct that's... Yes, okay, type def struct. Okay, cool. So, actually, I'm going to take a look at that in a second. Okay, cool. So yeah, it has this, actually it makes two pointers, which are base environment and override. Okay. And then looking at here, what is P? P is pool. No, this isn't P, this is A. Which A is another alias server conf that actually got allocated and is equal, no, A dot aliases is equal to APR array append P overrides aliases base aliases overrides redirects base. So what it looks like it's happening here is effectively just storing the configuration. Merge alias. Maybe that's what it is, maybe it's not. actually, one thing I'm going to quickly do, merge alias config. You see merge alias config, create alias config, then merge alias dir config, create alias dir config. So we see that dir config creator merge server config. Let's take a look here. Malik create merge. Okay, so here it creates another structure. I'm just trying to see what the difference. The only real difference I'm seeing between this function and this function is the aliases and the redirects in this function get their own actual variable assigned to them, but here they don't. Okay, now I'm gonna take a second. Standard 20 module stuff. What is this? That's the only reference. It's probably, considering it's all caps, it's probably a constant of some sort that means something. So looking at these four functions effectively set up with all deal with setting up and dealing with the config for this module. I'm gonna assume right now that I know what those are. Reason why I say that is in a second. I'm just gonna Google because there's probably easily something that'll tell me, oh hey, this is a standard thing with Apache modules. This means this, that means that, whatever. But I'm just gonna quickly look through and make sure I understand what all of these functions are. Register hooks I know, alias commands I know, fix up redirect, we reversed that yesterday, translate alias redirect. Where is that? Translate. Oh, that's one of the hooks, okay. Try alias list, yeah. Try redirect, try alias. Alias matches. Some regex things. Add redirect internal. Is this a part of the other? I get the feeling this is part of the add redirect internal. Add alias. Alias internal merge alias. What is the? I know there were 2 hooks registered. I only really looked at one of them. Fix up redirect. Try redirect. Okay, cool. So I didn't look at every function in here, but I am right now confident with my understanding of this module. So I'm going to go ahead and actually first let's look at another module real quick. Modder.c. Does this have the same thing down here? Standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it has the same amount of parameters here, if that's the correct terminology. Except the difference is these two are known. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick Google search. Apache AP declare module. Sorry for breathing on the mic there. I need to get better with that. Just give it a second for Firefox to load. Okay, cool. We're here. Google. What am I looking up? Apache AP declare module. AP declare module. Cool. It's a convenience macro that combines a call of AP's module with the definition of the module symbol. Okay, it doesn't tell me a lot other than it makes the module. AP declare. Oh, this looks like just some Apache patch notes. What is Apache AP declare module? Developing. Okay, this looks like it's much more promising. Every module starts with the same declarations or name tag, if you will, that defines a module as a separate entity within Apache. Per directory configuration handler, merge handler for per server configuration handler. Any directives we may have. This bit of code lets the server know that. For the next probably minute, I'm just going to be reading through this. This bit of code lets the server know we have never just a new module system. To begin with, we'll only create a simple handler that applies to the client, so we won't bother setting up configuration. Okay, cool. What is a configuration handler? Easy. As much fun is by letting the server help you create to do so. Let's first start off by changing your name tags. This should assist in creating it. Since we now have chosen the per directory context for per directory creator and merge. Choosing actually before we start. I'm gonna pause this while I read so it isn't just like 5 minutes of silence. Okay, after reading through this a bit, I have a better understanding of what's going on. So there are two types of configurations. A directory configuration, which we see here and here, and a server configuration, which we see here and here. Apache has some contextual things, so like one directory might operate differently than another, and the server might also have some server specific things. So having the directory and server contexts help with that, and that's where the create server config and create directory config comes into play. With the fact that like, oh hey, we have a context for like these three directories and a context for the server. We'll just create a config for each of those. Now, one thing that can happen is like an example right here. It can merge contexts, such as, let's say here, like let's say here the example I gave is you have a directory var dub 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 and a subdirectory var dub 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 subdirectory, and it can merge two different contexts together in that manner, which can help in certain instances. So, okay, cool. With that, I feel that we have a much better understanding of how the Apache module works. Now, to effectively like test my understanding, I'm going to reverse out like one or two other modules to see if they behave the same way I would expect them to. I'm going to pause it for a second. Okay, I'm back. Now, the question is, which one are we going to reverse out for that? Let's take a look at our Apache config and just see which ones are included by default. Conf http.conf load module authn. Which one would be easy to reverse? I think dbd. No. Mod mine, mod filter. Mod status. What does mod do? I'm curious. Apache Module. What does this do? Okay, so it looks like it, according to this, it basically will redirect you if you submit a URL that's to a directory but does not have the tailing slash, it will redirect you to that web page with a tailing slash. Let's take a quick look at the source code since we have it up. 418 lines, fix up there. Wait, no. Only one hook. Dir fix-ups. Cool. Okay, yeah, this looks like a good one to reverse out, so let's go from there. First, okay, do we have Apache running? Let's see. Make sure status H. Okay, cool. I did that. I know that the Apache that I'm actively reversing is its own binary that I've just been running from the command line, not with like systemctl or anything like that. Reason why I did this is I had like another Apache installed through like apt-get, so I just wanted to make sure that one was dead, so I didn't have any conflictions between the two. So we go to bin. Cool. Let's sudo httpd. It's running. Let's test it out. 27001. Okay, cool. It works. Let's go into htdocs. Let's make a directory. What song am I listening to? Okay, cool. Full beat song. Let's put down full beat. Let's see. Can we reach the full beat directory? Yes, we can. Cool. And okay, it redirects us. Cool. Now let's attach our debugger, shall we? Grip right here. Sudo gdb. Mistype password. I really need to script this out. 3521. Sudo gdb. Attach 3522. Sudo gdb 3523. Attach 3523. Cool, so we have attached to all three of the worker processes. And let's just make sure no new processes have been started. With that being said, what is this function called? Dir fix-ups. Let's make sure that we can resolve the symbol. We can. This should be in the mod dir memory region, which it is. Cool. Let's set a breakpoint for it. Cool, it's there. Let's try. Okay, it runs. In this instance, it should. So since it's a hook, it's going to get called every time, but it won't always run the functionality. In this case, the URL is missing the trailing slash, so it should run the functionality. Cool, we are here, and let's throw that. No, mod alias is the other side. So you have the source code right here and debugger running the code right here. APR serve up directory. Let's see what happens. Dir fix up. Jump not taken. Okay, cool. So effectively what it looks like is it sees that the file type from the record is a Apache is a directory, so it's running fix up dir. Looking at this other one, no file. It also it basically looks like there's two if then checks. If both of them, well, the first one just checks as a directory, run fix up directory. Second one looks like if it's not sure what the file is. We see that with Apache runtime no file and handler equals none. I mean not none, null. Runs this directory, which well, not directory, this function, which I'm guessing has a similar functionality, but probably just for a different file type. Fix up dir. But yeah, let's take a look at this function. Oh my, this is what happens when you write too much Python. Okay, cool. So if our handler equals that, if okay, gets the config, kind of similar to the last module we reversed. If okay, and then it checks here if the URI, yeah, it checks like right here if the URI does not end in a slash, and it looks like here it handles that functionality. We see that at the very end of the return statement, there's not the return statement, the if then clause, there's a return statement that is ran. So if this if code in here runs, it is the last thing that runs in this block of code. Looking here, you're right. It looks like here, not 100% sure, but it looks like this is a check to see if other modules are like working with it or doing some sort of rewriting, and if so, it just stops. Prevent dir magic. Might be a similar case. Either way, these two if thing are effectively just checks that are, if they succeed, they just stop executing. If then statement, either indexes names, pointer. Okay, it looks like if here it's just populating names pointer and num names, which I'm assuming is indexes. Okay, I'm not quite sure what that is. Let's see what we have here. For num names, a for loop that runs. Name. I'm just gonna be like reading the source code for like a minute, so I'm probably gonna be a bit quiet. If args is not equal to no, APR PS strap. Okay, I'm probably not gonna be able to fully understand the contents of this for a loop, I'm just going to step through the debugger and see what happens. I'm guessing since it doesn't have the following new line character, it's just going to run this if then loop and then call it quits. Let's first if then statement, second one PL0. Okay, I'm pretty sure it just triggered this right here. If it does, we should be. Let's see what happens. Not taken. Star length. Is there a star length call in here? Where is? Oh, okay. Star length is right there. Okay, so it looks. Is this the only? What other places are star length called? That's the only time it's called in this file. So we're definitely installing this if then check. It's probably, yeah, this checker right here, since it's missing the trailing new line, not trailing new line, trailing slash. That's probably what's gonna get it. Finish. PAL. Okay, so that, that did not run. Why did it not? I'm guessing. Wait a second. Let's look at the. So, where's the stir length call? Shrink pair. That's a few more spots up. So here's a call for stir length. We see RDA Volpe. So we see the argument has the following slash. My guess for what's happening is maybe there's some other functionality at play that's pending that slash, or maybe for some reason there's just multiple requests queued up. But let's see. Dir fixups. Break at stir length. Wait, no. Don't want to break at stir length. I want to break it at the specific spot in here because there are multiple threads going. Yeah, and it's very likely that. Actually, it's very likely that another thread will run stir length and then we switch context, and that's not fun. Actually, wait, no. Fix it there. This is what I want to disassemble. Where is stir length? Call API table get E. Here it is. Let's set a breakpoint for here. So it's getting. I'm gonna check Wireshark real quick. Let's view this HTTP stream. Get Volby. Okay, cool. So here we are clearly seeing that the request being sent before it ever hits Apache has the / appended to it, even though we specified that it didn't, or it shouldn't have it with the URL. I'm going to do it one more time just to make sure I'm not smooth braining this. Yeah, here it clearly does not have the trailing slash. We send it. And we see that, yeah, Volbeat gets appended with that following slash. So the reason why that functionality did not occur in the module is because Firefox itself took care of appending that /. So if we are wanting to do that, we're probably going to have to use a different HTTP client that doesn't do that, or just make it ourselves. But yeah, with that being said, let's take a look at. So we see that again, this has the declare module. It has register hooks with that, which is another function, or at least a parameter. Let's look at dir commands. Fallback resource directory / on or off. And if we look in the Apache conf. Directory. Okay. I'm expecting these to be options that we can specify with modder. Or alias modder module. So here we see is the section for the configuration of dir module. However, it doesn't have the comments that we see in like other modules specify, like saying like, oh hey, this command does this command does that. So okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and Google Apache conf directory /. So we can see here, it looks like it's in the conf file. I'm just going to look at one more place. Module dir. Okay, yeah. Looking at Google, it becomes very apparent that directory / is a conf, so that would lead me to cement my belief that like, oh yeah, all of these are effectively options that you can specify in the Apache conf that are later the module takes into account. Cool. So cementing basically how a module works after reversing it for a bit. A module realistically has two parts. The first part is setting and managing configs and context specific configs. And the second part is dealing with hooks. For the configs, it can either have like maybe like one. Oh, it has to manage configs to either directories or servers and deal with that. And configs can be specified by commands, which you specify with the whatever function is right here. And then with hooks, hooks are where the modules actually do work, and this is when you specify, hey, at this point in the packet receiving process, have the module run this corresponding code. But yeah, with that, I feel pretty comfortable in my knowledge of how Apache modules work, so I'm going to end it off here. See you later.